आप खड़े, आप अपने मुल्क को इन चोरों के हवाले, हमारा लीडर इमरान खान सच के साथ खड़े.
It's a very hectic entrance to Imran Khan's residency here in Lahore right now, and as you can see, there's a lot of people that have shown up. All these people are supporters of his. Why are you outside his house right now?
Without dignity, government, imported government has arrived here to arrest him.
So you're protecting Imran Khan against arrest?
I'm protecting Imran Khan. We are fighting for Imran Khan. Inshallah, we will die for him, inshallah.
Why?
Because he is the greatest leader of Islamic and all over the world.
Imran Khan, the man at the centre of Pakistan's political chaos right now. From cricketing hero to Prime Minister to an ousted opposition leader fighting for survival.
And they want me in jail so that I cannot contest elections.
Imran Khan has been kicked out of government just last year. He's now hoping to make a political comeback. Things are very, very tense. The police have been camped outside his house, and we're heading right into the belly of the beast to meet the man himself. It is a very interesting time in Pakistan at the moment. Right outside your house, there's been police who came to try and arrest you just last night. Around them are all your supporters that we just passed coming in here today. How does it feel to be in the middle of this firestorm?
What I always hoped one day would be my people being politically aware, understanding what true freedom is. The demand in Pakistan is for real freedom, which means justice, which means fundamental rights. In my 26 years of politics, it's the first time I feel that people realize that they want true freedom.
30 years ago, you were one of the greatest cricket players of all time. You were a national hero, a captain for this country. Did you know you were going to be Prime Minister of this country?
No, it was never my ambition because I was focused completely on cricket. I played 21 years of international cricket. And when I went into politics, it was the biggest challenge. And I would not have gone there had I not already gone through the mill in my life of facing ups and downs. 3.5 years as a Prime Minister was the most difficult thing I'd ever done because our country was bankrupt. But you never look back in life because people ask me, you had such a great glamour life as a cricketer. I look upon that life and, I don't even remember it. It means nothing to me.
Really? There's not a tiny part of you that misses it? So many people will remember you from, being flashed across the Daily Mail. My mum's a big fan. You were a total babe magnet. You don't miss that life free of responsibility
Never.
At all?
Not even once have I ever missed that life. In fact, I don't even watch any cricket anymore. It is time for fresh faces to come into Pakistani politics.
Since bursting into politics in 1996 and being elected Prime Minister in 2018, the challenges facing Imran Khan have been enormous. Just a few months back, Khan was leading a rally when he was shot 3 times in the leg. What was it like for you, knowing that someone is shooting at you?
Well, I was expecting an attempt on my life, and I had predicted that for 2 months. When I heard the gunshots, I thought they were firecrackers. But then I had this, awful feeling in my right leg. I had 3 bullets in my left leg, and one of them had broken my bone. But it also had damaged my nerve in my foot. But even when I was lying down, I thanked the Almighty, because I knew I was saved.
And what about now? I mean, are you scared?
Well, the threat of assassination is probably even more now than before, because the 3 people who I knew were responsible for this, they're still sitting in power. And they're probably more worried now than ever before, because all indications are that whenever there are elections, my party is going to sweep the elections.
Despite Khan's finger-pointing at the current government, there's no evidence that the ruling party was behind the assassination attempt. But they have pushed back the date for the next elections and filed dozens of legal cases against him, which is widely seen as an attempt to prevent him from running again. You are facing some very serious legal charges right now. There's a possibility that could lead to a prison sentence.
The corruption cases against me, there's just one, what they're saying, when you get public gifts in Pakistan, they are saying that I sold one of the gifts. So, I want a public hearing about this. I want this to be in public, covered by the media when this case comes to court.
How would you handle prison?
I survived an attempt. I'm really lucky to be alive. So, I mean, prison will be, I guess when it comes to it, I'll go to it. But if I don't fight for my country, who will?
A few days after this interview was filmed, the violence escalated. One supporter was killed, and when the police unsuccessfully tried to arrest Khan at his home, 2 full days of chaos ensued.
You're fighting for political survival. You are telling your people to go out on the streets, to march, to go to jail for you. You're calling for early elections. You say that your priority is economic and political stability. Do you ever think that if you were to step aside, if you were to let go, the government could get on with running the economy?
If the current government was worried about economic stability, why did they conspire to remove our government? We only had 1.5 years left. So why? What was the hurry? The Prime Minister was about to be convicted. His sons were about to be convicted on billions of rupees of corruption. So the hurry was they didn't want to remove the government because there was a problem with the economy or they were worried about inflation. They wanted to remove the government because they wanted to get rid of the corruption cases, which they did.
Inshallah, corruption. मेरा ये आपसे वादा है कि मैं आपको काबू करके दिखाऊंगा.
You came into power promising to eradicate corruption within 6 months. You haven't done that. Corruption perception index worsened during your rule.
The problem in Pakistan is that we have what is called elite capture. The ruling elite is above law. So it's not just Pakistan's problem, it's the problem with the entire developing world. My whole campaign is to bring the powerful crooks under the law. And why I failed, unfortunately, because the National Accountability Bureau, which deals with corruption, was not under me, was under the army chief.
So you're saying you don't have control over the military?
Because the army chief had the veto, I could not get the powerful crooks convicted, which is why we could not improve on our corruption index. If you cannot bring the powerful under the rule of law and hold them accountable, then I'm afraid how can you control corruption?
तब तक निकलता रहूंगा जब तक तुम इलेक्शन हम तुम्हारे से जबरदस्ती इलेक्शन करवाएंगे.
You've been very critical of the current government for suppressing free speech, for politically persecuting you, as you say. Under your own government, talk shows were shut down, journalists who've been critical of you were attacked, tortured, detained. As someone who is presenting yourself as a victim, I can see you shaking your head, as someone who is presenting yourself as a victim of persecution and a beacon of free speech.
Not one case against the media was ever instituted by my government.
I mean, there is a long list of journalists who...
Let me just complete it. So not one by my government. What happened was the journalist who got into trouble said something to the army. When I found out, immediately the next day we had them released. Compare that to what's going on now.
That might be true, but I'm asking you about under your rule. You know, the Reporters Without Borders said that, you know, labelled you as a press freedom predator.
The 2 times we found out 2 journalists were picked up, we immediately took action.
And what about the others? There were people who were shot outside their homes, there were people whose talk shows were shut down.
Talk shows was shut down only on 2 people who apparently said something against the army, not against my government.
The army has ruled Pakistan for half the country's existence, and critics accuse them of still pulling the strings in the country's politics.
You blame the military for many things. Why should people vote for you if you can't control the military?
My responsibility was fighting corruption, but I did not have the authority on the institution that was supposed to be a tool to fight corruption, NAB, which was controlled by the army chief.
Do you not feel like it needs to be dismantled in order to actually have a free and fair country, as you say?
There needs to be a balance. No management system works if the Prime Minister has the responsibility, but he doesn't have the authority.